Doing a little sound check. Betsy, you can hear me? Okay, great. Awesome. Hi, Krista. Hi. While people are logging in, I'm going to name that I'm feeling so much gratitude for this space I'm being held in. I actually was supposed to be in Iowa City still to teach this, and unexpectedly kind of came to South Carolina to check in on family a couple days early. I was planning to travel tomorrow. And so yesterday I'm in the airport, like, where am I going to teach this class? My mom's house doesn't really have the right vibe. And so I'm thinking of like what other friends or family I could reach out to. And then I recall like a colleague that I know who's in similar work that lives here. And I am right now just held in the most magical space. And so much so that there's like a photograph of one of our teachers, Pandit Rajmani Tiganath, on the altar over there. And like, so I just feel like right now in this really, really sweet space, and so supported. So, all right. Well, as people are coming in, I just want to kind of give a framework of where we'll go tonight in terms of practice and give you some time, depending on what your space is and where you are, to kind of gather things you might want. Because once we do the move toward the yoga nidra practice, you'll really want as many cozy, comfortable things as possible. I see someone's outside, which is amazing. And yoga nidra outside is really cool. So that's great. And if you're at home, really, or like whatever space you're in, you want to work with what you have. So like gathering some extra pillows, some extra blankets. If you're outside, like something that's going to make you feel comfortable lying down. So either putting like a blanket on the earth or a mat. I think blankets are nice. Something that'll just let you kind of feel supported. And then like something lightweight to go over the eyes can often be nice, like a lightweight scarf. A t-shirt works really well. Just like anything, nothing too heavy, but something lightweight to cover the eyes. So if you want to go grab anything, if you need to, feel free to go grab things. And I'm just going to go ahead and like type in the chat some things so that that's there, some things that'll help people feel cozy. So pillows, even if you're outside, like a pillow to put your head on, something soft to lay the head upon is actually key. Pillows, blankets, scarf or t-shirt for the eyes. Yeah.
I'm going to turn this off. I need this then. Okay.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna plunge in. All right, because I know some people will be joining us and some people are already here, but I really want to seize our time. So I'm Fannie Hungerford. Many of you I saw, I'm sure, a couple weeks ago. It's been 2 weeks exactly, for the nervous system and polyvagal class. And some of you I know in other contexts, and I hope this whole experience, whatever ways you've been tuning into the tender hope process, has been a supportive balm for your spring and for the times we're all collectively living in. And just know too that if you're coming to these recordings later, that you're meeting these practices at just the right time for you, right? Like just trust that, no FOMO, that these practices and these recordings are landing in your lap at just the right moment. We're here in this collective circle tonight, but those of you that join in later are part of the collective weaving and part of this collective circle that has, this thread we're pulling through in our communities and in our spaces right now, but also as time moves on. I was really excited as Yoga Nidra kind of was brought up as something to bring into this program. I taught Yoga Nidra, I think, in the very first Tend Her program as one of the extra components. And when Betsy and I were talking about it being at the end, it really felt apropos, because anytime we rest, all right, even if it's just evening sleeping or daytime sleeping, whenever we're resting, it's a natural time for integration. It's a natural time for us to assimilate our experiences. And so kind of wherever you are in digesting this material or processing some of the things that have been coming up in the classes or coming up through your journal prompts, Yoga Nidra is a sweet tool for letting all that kind of settle in, for percolating. And I'm just a huge fan of this practice. And I'll share, I was speaking to my mom today and telling her what I was going to teach. And I was like, it's a supine meditation is what I said. And then she kind of laughed that I used the word supine. She was like, that sounds like my kind of tea. And then I said, it's a practice of non-doing. And she said, oh, I'm really good at that. We laughed. But that for many people is actually pretty hard, right? To like not do. I was actually just having a conversation with my stepdad about the exact opposite, because I was on the phone with him saying, I'm going to teach this class. And he was like, all right, well, I might try to lie down. And I sort of laughed, because like, it's impossible for my stepdad to lie down. Like, he is always doing. And I think many of us know that feeling, right? Like if we are looking around or in our days, our lives move at pretty quick paces. And so for some people, pausing to this extent can be challenging. But I assume most of you, if you're joining into this program, you've had some tastes of that and it feels pretty good. So Yoga Nidra is an opportunity for us to press the pause button mega style. Maybe you've done a couple of the practices that Monica has recorded in the 21-day meditation journey. I know I've tuned into both of those. Anytime I see Yoga Nidra, I'm like, oh, I can make time for that. And so maybe you've gotten a taste of it there. And what I want to say about this practice and really any practice and how it fits in the context of this this program and the content that Betsy's been sharing and the content that's been revealing itself in your heart, right, as you're making these teachings your own and understanding this material, is that any sort of practice we can do with regularity is a place for us to explore that which stays constant in our lives, that which stays the same and supports the well of contentment. And contentment, I think, goes really close in hand with hope, because when I can access contentment, it means that I'm like living in the space of life's happening to me, but I'm not being kind of swallowed by it, defeated by it, or too attached to outcome of like, it all working out too. Like I have contentment and trust and faith and hope in that space in between pessimism and optimism. And I feel like, that's what my husband, he was tuning in to like the first nights of Betsy's classes with me. And that's what he really took away. He's like, yes, the space between pessimism and optimism, like how do we live in that space? And to me, as I contemplate that, my practices, and by that I mean my stillness practices, things like meditation and things like Yoga Nidra, those are what I've committed to. For you, it might be different. Those consistent practices and sticking with them for a while, and I really mean a while. It's like not a quick fix, but sticking with them for a while is what has made the wealth of difference in my own life of being able to access contentment and dwell more consistently in that space between optimism and pessimism, right? That I'm like on the river. And occasionally I hit the banks, no doubt. Okay. Like, and I'm in that bank of, chaos, or that bank of, distortion, whatever it might be. But then the practice, right, as I can come back to it, I'd say for me, it's practice and community, right? Like-minded community. Those things are what can keep me afloat in the river. And so speaking to Yoga Nidra as a practice and something we can do consistently could just be like a meditation practice, okay? And Yoga Nidra is a little different from meditation, and I don't want to geek out too much about it, but I have to geek out a little bit about how Yoga Nidra is different than meditation. In meditation, as I understand it and like to teach it, is that there's me. And actually, I'm just going to use like this visual demo. I don't normally meditate on like an icon, but like there's this like Murti in the background. There's like a beautiful Ganesh statue. So, right. So I'm just going to like point to that, right? So there's me and there's this object, like the Ganesh statue. And let's say that's my object of meditation. Okay. Like I'm focused on that. Your object of meditation could also be your breath. Your object of meditation could be, a mantra or a centering thought. Your object of meditation could be another image, right? But, or walking, right? Like something. But there I am, there's me, my attention, and the object. And I'm trying to continually put my focus on that object. And then I notice I'm thinking about the grocery store. I'm thinking about the argument I had with so-and-so. And I'm like, oh no, I'm supposed to be meditating on Ganesh. Oh, no, I'm focusing on that. And I keep just returning my mind to that. And that's essentially part of the practice until me and the thing get closer. This is my visual, right? Then all of a sudden I'm a little closer, and like there's less space between me and the object, right? This is why what you meditate on is actually important. Okay, because you're trying to merge with it, right? So then I get closer to the object and I'm like, ooh. And then I think this feels really good. This is cool. I'm doing it. And then I'm like back in my separation. But that's part of the practice, right? I'm putting my attention to this, and then there's me. And then slowly, slowly we get closer. Whereas in Yoga Nidra, it's not a focusing practice, right? So meditation is about kind of like tending the mind with focus, and then through focus, there's union, right? Like through focus, there's union, and then like less of me and all my stuff and my fears, like more of that dissolves, and more of my like connection to what I'm meditating on can emerge. Yoga Nidra, on the other hand, rather than focusing, is really about like relinquishing, dissolving, letting go, right? And through dissolving and letting go, I see what's left. And that's where like I'm dissolving, and you don't have to do anything, right? Which again is the hard thing. Back to my stepfather, like he can't lie down, all right? Like that's the hard part. I'm going to dissolve. I'm going to let go of doing. And through the act of letting go, not through the act of attention, through the act of releasing and letting go, then that which is left behind is revealed to me. All right. Like, who am I when I'm not doing? And through that, I kind of get something else gets revealed, right? This space between, this space underneath. So that's just like a little taste of the difference between Yoga Nidra and meditation. But essentially, they take us into similar spaces. And in meditation, we talk about the goal is samadhi, which is kind of like a state of union, right? And in Yoga Nidra, we talk about the goal is turiya, which is like the fourth state. right? So there's waking, dreaming, sleeping, and then the state beyond, right? So again, it's like some mysterious space. Turiya, the fourth state, samadhi, bliss, union. I mean, like maybe we get a taste of that. Yeah. Yeah, I just see someone speaking to like the challenge with Shavasana, right? Which is kind of like it's its own practice too, and even in a whole different category. Some people say like Shavasana and Yoga Nidra are the same, but it's another category too, and that it's challenging for people, and that's true. Okay, so there's my little like beep about Yoga Nidra. And then just giving again that plug, all right? I just want to circle back, whether you've been doing the 21-day meditation challenge in this program or dabbling in it, or have curiosity about starting a more dedicated personal practice. I'm just here to say, go for it, okay? Go for it. And if it's 5 minutes a day, it's 5 minutes a day, okay? Consistency is the key. In the Yoga Sutras, it says for our practice to be effective, we must do it consistently for a long time. And this is, I think, the best part that we often forget, with love and devotion. Okay, so we got to keep doing it. We got to do it regularly and approach it with love and devotion. Okay, not like, oh, hey, I got to get that damn meditation in, but like, because that will affect it. Right. So with love and devotion. And so 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, wherever you are, just show up. And what I would say is when you're finished with the 21-day meditation challenge, pick one, right, of those, or maybe you've got your own practice already. Pick one and try to stick with it for 40 days or something like that. Give yourself like, I'm gonna do, gosh, I loved that one that was, the river. I'm going to go back and find that one. It was day 11, whatever it was, right? Go back and find that one and commit to it. All right. Or one of the Nidras and just say, I'm going to do the Nidra for the next moon cycle, something like that. So you kind of develop some consistency with practice too. Okay. Before I jump into practice, all right, we're a pretty intimate group right now. So I actually just want to say before we kind of move into, because then once we start practice, we'll really be in the flow. But does anyone have a question about Yoga Nidra? Yeah, or meditation before we plunge in? I think that's Michelle. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. And thank you for all you said. This is
I
a
can't hear
really
you.
tenderhearted.
Maybe that's on my end. So let me just see. You want to try again?
Sure. Can you hear me now?
Are other people able to hear her? Shoot. Okay, so I need to turn my own volume up. Select a speaker. Yeah, maybe I won't be able to hear you. Maybe you could type it in.
Type it in.
Yeah, type it in for me. That's great. Thank you. Because I don't want to spend too much time on that. Mhm. Are we ending on the Yoga Nidra? Oh, there'll be some after. So yeah, you don't have to wake yourself up. Yeah. Yeah, we will come back. We'll do the practice and I'll pull you out of the Yoga Nidra practice. And then from there, there'll be some time to journal and then a little time to check in. All right. Yeah, great. Thanks for asking. Anybody else have a question you want to type into the chat that's either about Nidra or tonight's practice? Super. All right, let's go for it. So we'll move the slightest bit. All right. We're just going to do a little bit of movement. If you don't want to move and are like really cozy already, or in a space where you can't move or your body is not allowing for movement right now, the movement is not a prerequisite, just a little something to create some create just a little transition. So we'll do maybe 5 minutes of movement, and then we're going to do a breath practice. And then we'll come into to our setup. All right, so I'm just gonna slide this chair out of the way and repin my, okay. Okay. So you can come to stand, all right, and we'll just get started first with some wrist rolls. All right, and let the feet be wide, and if you want to sit still, you can sit. Right, rolling in the wrists, soften the shoulders, soften the jaw. The breath isn't coordinated with this movement, it's just a free and easy breath. And let's reverse the direction of the wrist rolls. Good, and then we'll just move the fingers a little bit like you're playing the piano, or squeeze and open the hands, just some articulation through the finger joints. Good, and we'll shake the arms out. Good, widen your stance so it's a little wider than hip distance, right? One arm will go up in the air, the other arm is gonna come either on the hip or down by your side, and we'll just gently lean over, all right? Stay rooted in the outer foot of the leg you're moving away from. So if you're leaning to the right, root into the outer left foot a little more. If that arm feels okay stretching over, you can leave it there. If that's too much for the shoulder, or you want it a little gentler, place the hand on the head. 2 more breaths here, expanding the side body. And slowly come back up. All right, other arm reaches up, lean over to the side, hand either slides down the leg or hand on the hip. Expansive breath into the side body, relax the shoulders and stay connected to the outer foot. Good, and then slowly come back up and relax arm down. Good, heel to the feet just a little closer together, fingertips to the shoulders. We'll make some circles with the elbows. Good, reverse direction. Great. All right, and I'm just gonna step my feet a little wider again, making some circles. I've got my knees bent a bit here, making some circles with the pelvis. Feel free to breathe out through the mouth a couple of times. And reverse direction. Good, and then just a little shimmy and shake. Okay, last thing we'll do here, all right, we're just gonna press through the feet, all right, just to get some a little articulation. So I'm just kind of lifting the foot up and pointing the foot, lifting the foot up and pointing, and alternating weight bearing. Okay, and then stand on one foot and roll the ankle. You can use some support of the wall if you like. Reverse direction of the ankle, rotation. And same thing, other side. Roll the ankle. And reverse. All right, any other shimmy or shakes you want to do? Nothing crazy, all right? Or just some simple movement if you're compelled. And then we'll come to sit before we set up our relaxation space, all right? So we'll do a little bit of a pranayama. And what I want to name is that out of the breath practice, I'm actually just going to guide you into a very brief contemplation, because there's something I want you to kind of pull in a more conscious manner that you'll be able to use in the yoga nidra, right? And sometimes once we get into the nidra, we drift into like, a la space. And I want you to be able to be in a little more conscious state, like a little more of a meditative alert state to listen to this one thing, all right? That'll be more of like an intuitive piece for you to use in your yoga nidra practice. So the breath practice we'll do is a combination of alternate nostril breathing and ujjayi breathing. So nadi shodhana and ujjayi. And so every inhale will come in through both nostrils, all right? And we'll have that slight whispering sound like. And then the exhale, we're going to alternate out one side. So it'll be in both, out one side, in both, out one side, in both, out one side, all right? Alternating. And I like to use the mudra, all right, for Nadi Shodhana with my right hand, where index and middle finger come down to the mound of the thumb. I use my thumb to block the right nostril and my ring finger to block the left, all right, so in one side. All right, but we'll just be exhaling with the alternate nostril breath. If all of that feels too complicated, or if you're congested for any reason and not able to breathe through one or both nostrils, I just invite you to do the practice mentally. So you'll visualize up one side, down the other, up one side, down the other. Okay? So sitting tall, if you feel comfortable closing the eyes, go for it, or just find a steady gaze below you. Relax shoulders, create as much length as you can between the hips and the armpits, so your lungs, the ribs, the spine, all the organs have plenty of space. And before we add any of those techniques, begin to slow down and elongate your breath in whatever way feels available to you tonight. Begin to slow down and smooth out your breath. Good. And then we'll begin with this more intentional, technical breath. If you like, you could take the mudra with the right hand. And you'll breathe in using ujjayi breath, creating that little whispering sound in the throat, breathing in through both nostrils. And at the top of your inhale, bend the elbow, block left nostril, and breathe out the right side. And then you'll release the hand, breathe in both. Ujjayi breath, hearing it in the throat. Then the elbow, block right nostril, and breathe out left. So that's one round. Inhale through both, hearing it in the throat. And exhale out the right. Okay, so you'll keep going like that. Every inhale is creating that audible whispering sound. And every exhale is quiet, all right? We let go of that whispering sound. You don't have to work too hard, right? Remember where we're going. We're going toward Yoga Nidra. We're going toward non-doing. So even right now with this technical practice, observe how you might be able to soften or begin to relinquish effort ever so slightly. Trusting your body to breathe on its own. Trusting the pattern of breath. And again, if the pattern itself feels overwhelming or is creating more stress, just let it go. And let's finish the cycle you're on and do 2 more rounds. Okay, so that means next time you exhale on the left, do 2 more complete rounds. Letting the whole practice finish with an exhale out the left side. And once you finish that technique, just allow your breath to adjust. And we'll stay in the internal space for a bit more. Letting breath soften, let your awareness just tune in. Perhaps invite awareness to drop just a little deeper inside of yourself. And in this practice of Yoga Nidra tonight, there'll be an opportunity to anoint yourself through visualization as we move through various spaces and centers in the body. And so for now, I simply invite you to consider hope as you feel it or understand it now. What might represent hope for you that you could anoint yourself with? What might represent hope for you in this moment now? It could be light, an element, another material, gems, even the word hope. And if you're kind of thinking or noticing a lot of chatter come in, probably just means you're getting a little into active mind, less into intuitive body and your wisdom center. So maybe just drop in again to the body and the breath and trust whatever arises first. What symbolizes hope for me now? A little flame, a little flower, blue light, ghee. Possibilities are endless. Good, and then as you feel ready, begin to prepare yourself for the lie down practice. Yoga Nidra can be done seated, but generally you'd be leaning back on something, like leaning back against a wall or leaning back in a really comfortable chair that allows your head to be supported. Otherwise, lying down on your side or on your back with plenty of pillows and comfortable things around you. Most important is that there's something soft under your head. So I'll just give everyone about 2 minutes to kind of settle into sweetness and really inviting care into this moment, right? Treating yourself well, supporting yourself well. And you don't have to hurry. Good, so getting cozy, getting comfortable, making those last adjustments, covering the eyes if you have something, tending to the sweet vessel of your body with care. And remember that as you're settling and as the body is getting supported, that over the next 20 minutes or so, there's nothing for you to do, no problems for you to solve. And it's an opportunity to trust. I like to think of Yoga Nidra as an adaptogenic practice, meaning that it comes into us, we receive it, and it moves to the spaces we need it to move, right? Like it gives us the medicine that we need. So if the medicine for you tonight is sleep, then that will be the medicine you receive. If the medicine for you tonight is some physical healing, that will be what you receive. If it's emotional clearing, spiritual awakening, right? Any of these results could unfold, but we relinquish expectation of what we're going to get out of this practice and rather allow it to unfold in us as it's meant to unfold tonight. Okay. So there's nothing for you to extract, but rather practice surrendering, trusting, and releasing. Feeling how the body is supported. Noticing sweet vessel of your body supported. Invite in a nourishing breath to the body, and as you exhale, allowing a sigh to move out through the mouth. Inhaling into the belly, and allowing a sigh to move out of the mouth. About 6 more breaths. Inhaling sweetly, gently, and allowing the exhale to gently flow and release. Softening, settling. Ah. 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 And eventually allowing your breath to soften into its natural state. No need to control it or shape it or work too hard at this point. Just letting the body breathe on its own. And allow awareness to just travel through the back body or the parts of your body that are making contact with the floor and the pillows and the cushions. And noting how the contours of the body here are supported by the contours of the supports. And you might even allow your mind's eye to sense or imagine or even feel that it is the earth herself that is holding you, just like she always does. Feeling your body settling as she rises up, and there you meet in ease, held and supported. Nothing for you to do, nothing for you to be. There are any spaces or places where you might still be efforting in the physical body, just know in this moment, the body is being held. Nothing for you to do. Invite awareness to travel to the flow of the breath. And notice how the breath is moving and flowing in just the right rhythm, just the right pace for this moment. And witnessing how in the flow of your breath, there is both fullness and emptiness. Witnessing how the inhale emerges like the springtime and spreads into the fullness of summer. And the exhale begins the descent like autumn into the emptiness and depth of winter. And then spring emerges again, fullness of summer, and the descent of the fall, and the empty, dark space of winter. And without forcing the breath, without shaping it in special ways, just witness all of those transitions. No holding of the breath, no pausing, but there is this natural cycle of emergence and endings, of death and birth, ascension, descension, emptiness, and fullness. We'll begin to move awareness through the field of the body. You can just follow my cues. You might drift off. If you like, at each point or each space, you'll anoint that space in your mind's eye, visually, or with just gentle intention, that which represents hope to you in this moment. Awareness at the eyebrow center, softening and anointing that space with hope. Awareness at the center of the throat, anointing. Center of the right shoulder, and at each space, there's effortless awareness. And as though there is just the dropping in of sweet presence of hope. Right elbow, wrist, tip of the right hand thumb, tip of the index finger, effortless, tip of the middle finger, ring finger, little finger, right wrist, elbow, right shoulder, anointing, letting hope descend into the throat. Left shoulder, left elbow, awareness in the left wrist, tip of the left hand thumb, tip of the index finger, tip of the middle finger, ring finger, little finger, anointing the left wrist, elbow, shoulder, throat center, anointing the heart space, right chest, left chest, a little deeper into the heart center, anointing the heart with hope. The body open and the space between those points. And you sense all of those points and spaces that you've anointed, illuminating, reverberating, pulsing in the space of your being. And it's almost though as if you breathe, when you breathe, the inhale just sends and flutters all of that hope essence a little further away from the body. And as you exhale, it all lands and settles and descends into the body. And with the breath in, it just dances a little further away, or you expand. And as you exhale, it settles and sinks and deepens into your being. And just let yourself play with that, with the natural rhythm of the breath, with effortlessness, how there is this moving away and then drawing in, this fluttering outward and returning home. Let it dance on its own. Let yourself be pulsed and breathed by hope itself. Infused, supported, softly settling and spaciously spreading. And become aware of the space of the heart. Become aware of this space and expansive locus within yourself. And sense with the most effortless ease a pathway between your heart and your third eye. Effortless ease. Become aware of the heart space. And with the most effortless ease, sense the palms of your hands and the heart space and the pathway between the palms of your hands and the heart space. Become aware of the heart space. Become aware of the path between the heart space and the womb space, the sacral chakra. Aware of the womb space and the heart space and the pathway between. Feel the whole body. And as though the body is held, or the space around you is like a golden cocoon. Your whole vessel and being held within a golden womb of light. Nothing to do. Soften and allow awareness to see, sense, feel. Hiranyagarbha, golden womb of light, holding. Finite perception merges with infinite awareness, spacious awareness. Allow yourself to rest. Deep rest. Held in spacious awareness. Inviting your awareness to gather inward toward the sounds within and the sounds around. Noticing the sounds outside of you and the sound within you. Listening to the whispers within. As we begin to transition out of the space, deep rest, notice what wants to come with you. Invite the breath to deepen ever so slightly. And as the breath deepens gently, sense the body resting, sense the space the body occupies. Without opening the eyes, just notice, sense, feel into where you are. Staying mindful as you transition and aware of this transition as a magical practice in and of itself. Gathering whatever gems that the practice reveal to you and noting, letting them come with you. Inviting them to be carried with you as you gently reawaken. Maybe the fingers and toes move a bit. And you allow yourself to eventually roll onto your side. And if you're already lying on your side, gently roll to the other side. Our practice of Yoga Nidra is complete. Allowing yourself to roll to your side. Lying on that space. And taking a little moment for reflection. And if you have a journal or pen and paper close by, I invite like 2 minutes of either doodling, free writing, anything that wants to come on the page. No rules. Just letting pen come to page, pencil come to page for doodling or free writing for 2 minutes. All right, so as we kind of wrap this time and space up, if you're still in the flow of writing or journaling or doodling, by all means, stay with it or just note how you might want to come back to it later. I want to encourage everyone to hydrate well. I always like to say that even though it doesn't seem like we did much, if you recall earlier what I said about Yoga Nidra being a practice of dissolution or dissolving, I really think of it as like a detoxifying practice, right? So just drink a lot of water tonight or whenever you're doing this recording today. Um, Lots of Wawa. All right. I really want to thank all of you for tuning in live. Those of you that are listening later, blessings to you as well. Thank you, Betsy, and all the behind the scenes support of Kimberly that have made this event possible. Thank you, thank you. And everyone else involved in the Tin Her team. I'm going to close our formal circle here. And I'll probably go off the recording, but I'll stay on for a few minutes for anyone that wants to connect.